Hello everyone, welcome back to another Slurpit tutorial. In this video, we'll learn how to install Slurpit through the OVA method. So the OVA method is basically the VM method. You have an OVA file and you import that into either VMware or VirtualBox. With Slurpit, both options would work, but in this particular tutorial, we do it with VMware because I'm used to it, and also it is, I assume, more popular than VirtualBox. So in order to do that, you go to the same download page, so get started, free download. You'll fill in your full name and business email. Let me do that. Click to download. And instead of Docker, we're going to click on this link and it will take us to the Google Drive. And basically, this is the file that we want. And the size is nearly 4 gigabytes. So I've actually downloaded it already, but you can go ahead and download and come back. There we go. This is the file. I'm going to open it. If I double click, it is going to automatically open it with VMware. We're going to accept the terms. Next, give it a name. Slurpit demo is, I think, a proper name, and we are going to import it. So I'm going to pause the video and come back when it is fully imported. So the virtual machine is imported. I did power it on, and this is the first thing we see. I can actually go ahead and zoom it in a little bit more. And this is the login section. Username is Slurpit and password is also Slurpit. So I am going to type it in. And now we are inside the machine. So before doing anything, I'm going to type in IPA. And as you can see, we have three interfaces, and ENS33 is the one that we want to assign an IP address to. But currently, it does not have any IP address, and we need to assign an IP address to it. So this is going to be the IP address of our web application, of our Slurpit application. And the way we do that is, first of all, say sudo su, and Slurpit is a password. And just say Slurpit, hit tab, and basically this is the wizard. This is the setup. I want to hit enter, and you're provided with these options to fill in. Keep in mind that all these numbers are optional. The only one that's mandatory for you to configure is the second one, which says configure interface and set IP address. Keep in mind that even if you configure this virtual machine to use a bridge adapter as opposed to NAT or any other option, it doesn't matter. Still, you have to provide the IP address manually. So again, if your virtual machine is bridged, the adapter is bridged, it is not going to assign an IP address dynamically. So I'm going to choose number 2, and the interface is 2. This is the only one that's available for us to assign an IP address to. And the IP address should be inside your subnet for it to be reachable. I'm going to say 192.168.31.250, I believe is fine, /24. And my gateway is 31.1. There we go. I'm going to hit 8 and exit. So if I say IPA one more time, as you can see, the IP address is not still showing. And the reason is that we need to either reboot the entire machine by saying reboot, or only restart the networking service. So because we don't want to reboot the entire machine, we just restart the networking service. For that, I'm going to say sudo systemctl restart networking. And now if I say IPA, I have here the inet, which is an indicator of IPv4. 31.250 is the IP address that we have. Now I'm going to go to this directory Slurpit in the op directory, ls. And these are all components. What we want to do here is, first of all, I'm going to say move and docker compose override example. So we want to change the name, remove the example from this name for it to work. Basically, the idea is that whatever we want to change, any parameter, port, URL, or any other parameter like time zone, etc., it is recommended to do it from the override file, from Docker Compose override, as opposed to the original Docker Compose file. So in order for that to take effect, we have to rename this to Docker Compose override.yaml. And if we change anything from this override file, at the time of pulling, when we are pulling the latest images from GitLab, it will override the original values inside the original Docker Compose file. So we don't have to change anything in that file. We would do it from the override file, but it will be replicated to the original file. That is the case, but I want to change the port. Right now, if I say bash and op shell, it is going to basically spin up the images inside the container. But the problem is I have something running on my port 80, so I'm going to change the default port. And since we don't have any fancy text editor, I'm going to use nano, and Docker Compose override YAML is what I want to change. So here, Slurpit portal is our front end, and I'm going to change this to 81. And keep in mind that you have to change this as well. Attach the port 81 or any other port that you're using to the base URL. Otherwise, it's not going to work out. It is not going to work even if you put the base URL and append the port at the time of typing it in your browser. It's not going to work then. It has to be inside the Docker Compose file. And one more thing I need to do here is change the local host to the IP address that we just assigned to this machine. And that is 192.168.31.250. I believe everything is fine now. Control X, Y, enter. And now I'm going to say bash up shell. By the way, if you want to see the content of this shell script, this is the content. First, we pull the latest images from GitLab. And we say Docker Compose up to spin up the images that we just pulled. And dash D, which is basically silent mode, it is not going to show us additional and unnecessary logs. And we already have internet access, I believe. There we go. If you didn't have internet access, make sure that first you have an IP address. Second, you have some DNS entries inside this file, which we do. And as you can see, we have several DNS entries, and we also ping Google with the domain name, so we know that we have internet access. That is necessary because we want to pull images from GitLab, which is sitting somewhere on the internet. So I believe everything is fine. I'm going to spin up everything. It is going to take a while, so I'm going to pause the video and come back. There we go. Everything is pulled, created, and started. So in a perfect world, if I go to my browser, say 192.168.31.250, port 81, now I have access to the login page. Username is admin, @admin.com, and password is 1 all the way through 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Log in, and now we are logged in to the software. That was it for this video. I will see you in the next one.